What's up, YouTube? Phase 2, week 2 for the Florence Trucker here at the Roehl yard in Gary, Indiana. Some updates, not a lot compared to week 1. A couple things to talk about. As I stated earlier on, I signed up for flatbed driving, right? So, flatbed, as you may understand, this is a flatbed trailer right here. What we use, either a 48-foot or a 53-foot. Most of the time it's a 48-foot. Flatbed pays better than dry van or reefer simply because it's harder. Initially, when they talk to you about it, you have to strap down your loads, you have to chain down your loads, tarp your loads, use edge protection on your loads, etc. When you're going into this job, making the transfer as I did, make sure you understand, do your research. I did, and I knew what I was getting into. Flatbed work is work. It's hard. Well, it's not hard per se, but there are things you do need to know that you wouldn't know dry van or reefer. Specifically, some of the contents required by the Department of Transportation as to what has to be used, what type of strapping has to be used for what product, and how much to counter the weight. They give you a book on that, but it's not all inclusive. You learn as you go, which I have. And then there's the work itself, getting out, strapping a load down, tarping a load down, bunging the load down, the tarp down in the process, and adding edge protection to it so as not to damage the product from the change of the straps. And you'll be doing this in any type of weather. I've done it on hot days where I've sweat my ass off and had to change my shirt after an hour of loading. And just a couple days ago, I did it when it was freezing, bitter cold. We do it in all the weather. It's why we get paid more. So if you're looking at changing careers and becoming a truck driver, make sure you do your research about what the company you're going to go to offers and what to expect. I was originally offered with Roehl a job as a reefer driver, refrigerator driver, at 33 cents a mile. Then at the last minute they said they had a spot opening for flatbed, but I like it at 42 cents a mile. They told me flatbed would be more work, but I'm okay with it. I'm used to that, and I wanted to try it, so here I am. So the reason I say research is, one, it's more work, and two, make sure you're physically up to it. All right, I am 100% disabled from the military, and my back is one of my biggest issues, and I'm struggling with it out here. I'm dealing with it. I'm not going to complain about it, but I'm struggling with it a little bit. Getting up and down off these trailers is not an easy feat. Even if you climb up on the back of the truck, you're still doing climbing, jumping. You need to be careful of falling. I have fallen once, not off the trailer, but off the catwalk steps. I caught myself lucky, but the danger is there. The second thing you want to think about is backing. Okay, backing is one of the things that a lot of truckers struggle with initially, and some even into their careers. I haven't struggled too badly with backing. I have some issues we're working on, but the general rule of thumb is that you may not do a lot of backing as a flatbed driver. Generally, that's true. Your vans and your reefers are the ones that do most of the backing. They pull up and then they have people unload them, whereas flatbeds can pull into parking lots or into buildings that are accompanied with trucks and lift stuff on and put stuff on and etc., and then you pull out and you tarp. That's not always the case, okay? We had a consignee about 3 days ago I dropped off in Wisconsin where the consignee said our alley for backing the truck up is in the back, okay? And he caveated that with, try and back in there without hitting anything if you can, okay? That's a problem. If someone says that to you, that's a problem. The trailer is not very wide. As you can see, it can go into most places, 48 feet long. But this particular consignee had a bay that was not big enough to hold a goddamn taco stand. I didn't know how I was going to get it in there. My trainer got out and backed me in there. It took us together 3 attempts to get this trailer perfectly lined into an alley to back it into the consignee so that we could have it unloaded. You're going to face that, as I now know. Semi-regular basis, but it happens. So you need to also understand what you're getting into with backing. If you're a flatbedder, you need to know how to back, but you're not going to back as much as you would a dry van or a reefer. So when your trainer feels that you're ready, they put you on what's called a 5 solo run, okay? And so you have to do 5 trips without their guidance, with minimal guidance, on your own. I have just completed trip 3. I start trip 4 tomorrow. And what that means is I analyze all the data from the workflow that comes in. I plan the route. I figure out about the fuel stops. I figure out your first initial safety check at 25 miles and then each additional one at 150 miles, fuel consumption, all that stuff. And that includes figuring out where exactly the pickup is and where exactly the delivery is. Now, in this case, on my 4th load, we're driving from Gary, Indiana, and we're going bobtail to the Roehl drop yard in Oak Grove, Wisconsin, to pick up a relay load. Now, for those of you who don't know, bobtail means you're driving without a trailer, just your tractor. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens. So we're going to take our empty tractor and we're going to go to Oak Grove, Wisconsin, pick up a loaded trailer full of lumber, and we're going to head towards Michigan. I have a fuel stop in the city of Lena, Michigan, and I find that interesting because Lena's the name of my wife, the hottest redhead in the world, and I get to be married to her. Very proud of that. Do a fuel stop there, and then we deliver another 115 miles away to a Lowe's hardware store in Michigan. I forgot the name of the city, but I've gone through all that. I've got the trailer prep, I've got the tarps I need, I've got all that stuff. So after those 5 solo loads, my trainer gets with my fleet manager and basically says, hey, this guy is ready to test. I don't know where, I don't know when. My feeling is they'll probably send me back here to Gary to test because it's the area we spent the most time in, but I could be sent to any training facility. Then they have to find me a truck. So the process is a little drawn out. I've seen some guys go very fast. I met a guy in one of my first classes who had been waiting 4 or 5 days for a truck and had just recently gotten one that had been picked up from somebody that had recently left Roehl, and they had to go get it. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you know. But week 2, nothing super eventful. We've been busy making runs, you know, picking up, dropping off. I will tell you, when you pick up relay loads, you really need to check them. If they're done by Roehl guys, there's a very good chance they're going to be right, and you should be okay. If they're done by the consignee, there's a good chance they're going to be wrong. And yesterday was one of those days. We picked up a load from a steel company in Kentucky. They had put 3 tarps on it, which wasn't needed, and 2 of the tarps were ripped so badly that they would have leaked and we would have been held accountable for it. So we had to undo the whole load. They hadn't strapped it correctly. They had done something called short strapping, which is illegal, and you'll learn more about that when you get into GYCDO. But they had short strapped the load and they had tarped it correctly. So after 3 hours, we untarped the load, documented the damage to the tarps, sent it up to maintenance, bagged those tarps up, pulled our tarps, re-strapped the load, edge dressed the load because they hadn't done it, re-tarped the load, re-bungeed the load, and 2 hours and 15 minutes later, we were finally out the door. It's going to happen. It happened to us yesterday, so that's another thing you need to be prepared for as a flatbedder. With a dry van and a reefer, 99 times out of 100, the consignee will load for you, and they will seal your trailer. You'll take a look, make sure it is what it says it is, and they seal the trailer and you don't touch it. You get to the relay station or to the delivery, and they unload it for you. With us, we're paid more because we have to be more responsible with the load. If we get pulled over and receive a violation, that's on us and on Roehl. We both take a hit. It doesn't just go to Roehl. The driver takes a hit too. So when you're, like I said, when you're thinking about if you're changing, flatbed is not bad. I don't want to scare you from it. I just want you to have an understanding that you need to understand you're going to be working out the elements. You're going to get wet. You're going to get cold. You're going to get hot. You're going to be held responsible for the securement of the load. And if you damage the securement of the load, Again, it's not to scare you, but you will get some training on it in GYCDL, and then you will get additional significant training on it during your 19 to 25 days out in the field. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm hoping I'm back in Gary to test maybe Wednesday or Thursday or wherever they send me. As soon as I know and as soon as I test, I'll make another video and I'll let you guys know how it went and what to expect, and we'll be on the road for solo runs. I'll let you know how that goes as well. Until then, enjoy.